Hey everybody, this is MyCollectables coming back with another video. Now, this is my Darth Vader review video. Now, I mentioned I was going to be doing this a little while ago. I've been keeping track of Darth Vader on the Veve app for the entire month of June. It sounds kind of crazy, but he's one of my favorite NFTs of all time and one of my favorite characters of all time. And I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I got my Vader shirt right here. And by the way, Vader was framed, just in case you can't see that. Yeah, he's innocent. But anyway, I was looking at the numbers and I wanted to show you them, right? And talk about what they mean a little bit, just about where he's been in this app for the month and where he could be going, right? And so let's get into it right now. It's really kind of interesting to say the least, right? Because I track them every day, all three variations, right? So anyway, you can always subscribe to my channel too if you want. That would be great. I'd love to see you come back. And if you want to join my channel as a member, all members get a free Drophead NFT. We have over 300 now owners of Dropheads, and like giving out awards all the time, rewards for owners. And so you can join that just by joining as a member of the channel. That would be great. And then you can also follow me on Twitter. The link's in the description of the video, and I will follow you back and we can talk a little bit more about Vader there, right? So let's get into it, everybody. Here are the numbers. I'm going to zoom in a little bit and we'll first talk about the common and the uncommon as we scroll down here. Now, there we go. There's the common and the uncommon. So like I said, I started tracking Vader's numbers on June 3rd. I just wanted to see what would happen with him and in terms of how many listings and his price over the course of the month. So you can see I went pretty hard for the first couple days. Let's look at the common right here. June 3rd, there's about 647 listings. 117 gems is kind of what he started out as. Now, Vader dropped on May 29th. So that this video is on July the 1st, right? So he's been out for just over a month. Okay. So anyway, I waited a couple days just to get the market settled and everything. And here you go. It's about 117. And you can see as the days went on, the listings kind of went up and down. You can see on June 5th, he dropped under 100. That was a great day to buy him right there. And this is the common, right? And you can see the same thing over here on the right with the uncommon, right? You can see on June 3rd there, he's about 140 right away. So the uncommon was actually worth quite a bit more initially, which is kind of interesting, but 566 listings compared to 647 on the common, right? So that's the uncommon over there. And you can see that the listings, right, they started to go down. But check this out. This is interesting. As the days go on, the amount of people were buying them up and stacking them up, because people have been doing that, the price kind of started to go up a little bit more on the common and come down on the uncommon. And by June the 11th, you can see that the amount of listings per both was pretty close, right? So anyway, I took a bit of a break during that time in between, because like there wasn't really much going on with him. And then I came back around June 20th, and you can see right here that the common actually had the same amount of listings, basically very close, but the uncommon dropped. People were buying more of the uncommons, but also the prices of both went down. This was kind of our low period, I think, for these guys, compared to where they were even at the very beginning. You can see they're about 110 to 111 for the common and about 119 for the uncommon, right? And you can see the listings though have come down on the uncommon quite a bit, but the common, a lot of people were selling them, right? So that happened for a bit, but then look what happened on June 22nd. The listings dropped on both quite a bit as people started to really buy these up. That's what happened at this particular time. People started to really notice, okay, the price is good, it's low, and a lot of people bought. You can see 100 went off in one day, and those aren't 30-day listings because he wasn't even around 30 days yet, right? And the price went up. So that just shows that people were buying both of these, right? The price jumped up. So then I waited a couple more days, and on June 25th, we can see the common Vader, his price went up a little bit higher, which is great. And the listings came down a little bit as well. And same thing, the listings actually went up on the uncommon as people were probably trying to take some profits, but the price stayed really relative, about 139 on the uncommon. But June 27th was the all-time high on, the common. If you look right here, 466 listings. Everybody was trying to take some profits that day. 169 suddenly were listed. 169, sorry, in terms of the how much he was worth. And then there was 466 listed, right? So that was June 27th. And then you can see that the on the uncommon as well, that was close to his high as well on June 27th. But then I waited a couple days, and just yesterday I recorded the numbers for the purpose of this video. And check out what's happened. The prices stayed the same, but both of them have drastically dropped in their listings. Now, this is probably the 30-day delisting moment, because I think a lot of people probably listed initially when he first got him, because that was May the 29th, right? So we definitely got some drops right here in 30-day delistings on him. But also, we have not seen a resurgence in the actual people putting him back for sale. So that tells you something, that people are just probably resigned now to hold on to him. And you can see that the common is doing quite well on 165, and then the uncommon is actually cheaper at 135. So it's really interesting. The listings are both at their all-time lows right now, and we'll see over the next few days if this increases, right? But that's just really interesting information. Now, if the listings increase, then we'll actually probably see the price drop a little bit too, right? So we'll see what happens. So if you're buying Vaders right now, you might want to wait a couple days just to see what happens here with the listings, if they go back up, if some of the people who had them automatically go down, we'll relist. But at the same time, remember, June 3rd, 647 on the common. Now there's only 333. So it's like basically half the amount of listings for sale in 1 month's time. So that's actually really good, whether it's delisting and then people not relisting them, or also sales, because all through the month there was definitely sales. Now let's switch gears over to the the ultra rare, which is what everybody really wants to see. Let's do this one right here, the big one, right? So if you're lucky to get this on the drop, that would be incredible. I actually did get it on the drop, so I'm really happy. So it started out really big after the first few days. He was at 472 listings, about 2,075, right? So that was pretty amazing. And then what we saw over the next bunch of days early in June was that people were taking profits and flooring them low. And you can see he dropped down to 1,550. Now, he may have dropped down a little bit, because I was recording this basically every night at about 8 p.m. Pacific time. That's when I would record this, kind of at the end of the day, sort of ish. I know a lot of people are just waking up at that time, right? But that was sort of the end of the day for me. And you could see that he kind of never really dropped much below 1,500. He kind of dropped a bit down, maybe I think 1,300 to 1,400, but those listings were snagged up quickly on those days. And you can actually see right here that he has held steady at that barrier. So I know there's a lot of people who are wanting to pick him up around the 1,000 range. I think he even may have dropped down to a little bit closer to that very quickly on a day. But at night, he always seemed to come back, at least Pacific time at night. And you can see the listings right here. They went down and down, and then they popped back up on June 8th as people were trying to sell. And you can see 450 listings on June the 9th, and you can see his price. And then on June 10th and the 11th, he climbed a little bit. And then I took a break, like I said, I was watching him, but nothing really significant happened. So I didn't really record all of it. It just kind of stayed steadily the same. And then on June 20th, I started recording him again. And look, he went, 425 listings. So they were coming down as people were buying them slowly. Price started to creep up a bit, then 416. And then look what happened on the 22nd. Big accumulation. People were buying him up a lot. Price went up to 2,300. You can see the drop in listings right there. Some people delisted because they probably didn't want to sell low, and there was a nice pump right there. And then there's a few days, similar thing, and then people took some profits. You can see, he stayed the same on June 25th, but then on June 27th, that's kind of close to his all-time high. I know he was even a little bit higher than 2,800. You can see right here, but 373 listings. And so that's pretty crazy. So that was sort of the peak that we've seen him at least at that time. And I know he went a little bit higher, close to 3,000 at one point. And then over the last couple of days now, since then, he's come back down as people have taken a few more profits. As we get closer to some cash out, which is totally, legit. But then you can see the listings have dropped by about 50 listings, right? So that shows there's some 30-day delistings going on here too. But also we haven't seen, and this is a day ago, I haven't seen the listings rise yet. So I don't think people are really putting him back on the market, knowing now that his price is at this level, right? So there's a little bit of information for you about all three Vaders, right? So basically this is what I'm thinking here. You can do whatever you want, right? But my impression is if you're thinking about selling them, I would actually just wait a little bit personally, because, I would wait for the price maybe to come back up and rebound a bit, which I think it probably will. You may also, if you really want to get lucky, you may want to sell him right now and wait and see if he actually drops down, because he did go down just under 2,000 at one point yesterday. Well, I think it was the 29th or so, just under. But by the time the end of the day came, he was right back up, right near that 2,100, 2,200 level. And now there's way less listings, right? So I don't think he's going to drop too much further, but he totally could, right? And if he does, maybe snag him up. Same thing with the commons and the uncommons, right? But look over the next couple days, because if we get more listings, his price may drop, right? So that's what I would look for, right? So anyway, let me know what you think of Vader. And I kept track of him all month. Now, I'm not going to keep track as much of him in July. I'm going to actually only do it every couple of days, and then I'll probably do another report on him, because it's super fun to watch a collectible in the app like this. Let me know if there's any collectibles that you're watching or comic books this closely, but this is the kind of stuff I do. I get kind of crazy. I pick items that I really am focused on, and I really kind of like keep track of the numbers. If you just watched my video, I do it for my entire roster. You can watch that video I published today as well, and you can check out that video. It shows like how I keep track of my roster, because I really love the numbers. This is the kind of stuff I do behind the scenes, everybody. So anyway, let me know what you think about Vader. I think you could wait a couple days before buying one. Just when the listings come back up, you might get a better price. All right, I'll see you in the next video, and happy collecting.